Hi, my name is Blue Shinners. I'm the owner of Eastway Fitness Club in the Eastway Business Park in Limerick. We're a multi-discipline gym. We do everything from boxing, martial arts, strength conditioning, treks, kettlebells, and we're also starting CrossFit very, very soon. We get quite a lot of professional athletes coming in here to get strength conditioning, obviously so to help them prevail within their own sports. But at the moment we're working with a guy called Michael Sweeney. Now Michael Sweeney is a light heavyweight professional boxer. Mike, tell me when you got into boxing and why you got into boxing.
When I turned 11, I had my first amateur fight. I'm now 30, turned professional in 2007, and as an amateur I won 6 Irish titles, and I turned professional in 2007, and at present I've 15 fights as a professional.
Absolutely brilliant. Have you always trained in Galway? Have you trained in any other gyms around the country? Have you moved around using sparring, different types of sparring partners and so forth?
I did, as I said, I turned professional in 2007, and I've trained in Belfast. You know, I've been in the States, and been in training camps. I've sparred five world champions, and Vladimir Klitschko, Arthur Abraham, Chad Dawson, Brian McGee, and Miguel Kessler.
Fantastic record. At what weight division do you fight, Mike?
At present, a cruiserweight. I fight a light heavy cruiserweight. So, with the help of Blue Shinners and Jason Kenny, I'll be fighting him a natural weight at light heavyweight.
You come from a family of boxers, Mike, is that right?
That's right, yeah. There was 5 brothers, 4 and myself 5. In the household we have 10 Irish titles. The 5 of us were Connacht champions. You know, so I have a younger brother, Gary's 18. I had a couple of rounds tonight with sparring, and he's 6 times Irish champion at present, and a silver medal in the European Championships.
Tell me your feelings on the way you think professional boxing in this country is going at the moment, and boxing in general, as in the amateur scene, up as far as the professional scene. Do you think there's enough being done to support boxing players around the country through grants available and press cover and all that, media cover?
Well, it's like anything else. We always want more, and I do believe, not alone in Ireland, all over the world, that the Irish amateur boxers are well known all over the world. We got 5 medals in the Olympic Games, which is some achievement in itself, and a gold medal in that and a silver medal. For the amateur boxing, I think it's on a high, flying, a lot of young talent coming up, a lot of talent at present. As for professional boxing, sad to say that it's very weak in Ireland. Not of the boxers, just due to running professional shows. They're, I suppose, with the economy is not great, and we don't want to keep crying about it, but that's what it is, and it's damaging professional boxing.
Tell me this, do you think the youth of Ireland should be encouraged to box more, get them into clubs, obviously give them discipline and all this, but do you think that's a great thing about boxing, and that it instills that into young people? It
does, and someday, when I finish my career, it's something I always want to get in, travel all over Ireland and speak in, in prisons, youth clubs, liaison officers get tied in. There's a lot of young talent and serious talent gone to waste with youngsters, and with this thing with drugs, and and it's terrible, but it's happening, and just bags of talent, and I think it should be encouraging. You should have this kind of a club that's going around Ireland. That's something I'm looking into and working a lot with all these people and youth and get them into boxing.
I know you've travelled extensively all over the world sparring. You worked with Emmanuel Stewart at one stage in your career.
That's right. Well, late Emmanuel Stewart, God rest him, he passed away this year. Last year, just a couple of months back. And we all know he trained 44 world champions, and and in the Irish circuit he looked after Andy Lee, Limerick native. I went to Detroit in 2008, and I spent a bit of time. I ended up, twice in Detroit over Emmanuel Stewart, stayed in his house, and he trained, doing a lot of good for me, and I'll never forget that.
Before we come to an end, could you summarise boxing to me and what it does for you and where it brought you in life and how it's helped you to be who you are, which is Michael, Sweeney, the professional boxer.
I'm not a, I feel it's great, and I've 3 kids, and they talk to me about it, and and I think it's great, and in the people on the street, and it's not about who I am, it's, if I can see a young lad that I can help, I'll do that, and I just think professional boxing has changed my life because all the people I've met in boxing, and I've travelled the world, and on my passport, the reason of travelling them stamps was due to boxing. So I think it's done wonders for me, and I encourage every young lad to, go, you take up boxing, and it's a discipline but it has done me wonders, and I'm proud to say that,
Last question, where do you see Michael Sweeney in 10 years' time?
Well, basically, I have a good team around me now. I'm definitely focused now. I have 15 fights. I'm not saying there's years left of me, but and I hope when we say 10 years, I hope to have it done half that. Yeah. So I can see myself. I fought a guy, and who was a former world champion, and look, I've mixed with good company. I can see myself, and my goal is to be a world champion. But it'll be a hard route, but I have that belief, and I have to keep going.